Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name's Jess, and today I'm sharing with you a 20-minute restorative yoga practice from a series that I hosted back during COVID in 2020. All you need for this practice is enough space so that you can lay down, sprawl out, and you may want to bring in some pillows, some blankets, a yoga mat if you like. This is very beginner friendly, so let's jump in. First of all, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this with me. This is something that really means a lot to me these days. I've been trying to recoup after being in this constant fight or flight for literally a year. So I really believe in this series. So for tonight, we're just going to be doing a really simple, it's just a supported twist. So I'm going to sort of set it up for you. I'll demo it and then I'll give you a minute to get into it. And then we'll sort of start into the practice. So I'm going to come onto my left hip. So I'm just swinging my knees around so that my feet are sort of behind me. And then I'm going to be setting up a couple of pillows so that the left side of my rib cage is supported. So I'm gonna actually take these just like bed pillows just to prove to you you don't need much. I'm gonna stack two of them on top of one another. I want the pillow to start right at the place where my first rib on this left side starts. So as I start to lay down onto my left side, I want to come down so that once I'm down, I can place the left side of my face onto whatever I'm laying on, like so. So I'm turning my head toward my legs. My knees are bent and my arms are just kind of out to the side so that I'm able to relax. I'm not using my arms to hold myself up. So go ahead and find that and just watch the chat in case anybody's having a hard time. But the essence here is comfort. You're not looking for a big stretch. You're not looking for a challenge. You're just looking to feel really supported and really comfortable. Welcome. So just turn off your video if you haven't already. We're coming down onto the left side first, though. If you start with the right side, that's totally fine. Knees are bent, and you're placing your bolster underneath of the left side of your rib cage. Coming down, turning your face to the same side that your legs are pointing, so to the right, and relaxing. So once you get there, you can close your eyes. And I'll just take you through a little bit of breathing. I'm getting some tips about my sound. So we're just going to start with a count on the breath. So I want you to come into a 4 count inhale and a 4 count exhale. So just using this first little bit of time to pull yourself into the moment, whatever you're coming from. And if a 4 count doesn't feel ideal, you can work with a 3 or even a 5 count. And then seeing if you can add a pause at the top of your inhale for maybe a count of 1, maybe 2, but I don't want you holding to the point that you're straining or struggling. So keeping that pause at the top of your inhale, and I want you to see if you can make your exhale just 1 count longer than your inhale. So maybe it's 5, maybe it's 4, maybe it's 6, but just 1 count longer than your inhale. And just take one more round like that. See if you can really linger in the exhale breath. Same count, but just really kind of soaking up that moment of release and really sink into your bolster, your blanket, your pillow, whatever it is, the ground. And then you can let go of the count. And I want you to just start to imagine that instead of breathing through your lungs as you normally do, you start to breathe through the pores of your skin. You should feel this sort of all over, kind of softening, loosening. Maybe you visualize the breath coming in and out through the pores. Maybe it's more of a sensory experience. But seeing if you can stay with that for just a couple more minutes. So, the idea with a practice like this is that we are conditioning the nervous system to be able to make a really smooth, eventually, transition from doing to non doing, or from what is pretty typical a low grade fight or flight state of being, state of our energetic body, this kind of fragmentation, this efforting doing, into this place where we can rest and digest. That's what we actually call it, where the body can repair itself. So I like to think of this sort of practice as sort of like a runway into meditation, which is ultimately what I'm trying to trick you into doing here. But we have to prepare the body. So a couple more rounds just breathing in and out through the pores of your skin. And if you stopped breathing in that way, just come back to it. It's not about perfection or control. As I always say, it's just about working the comeback rate, this ability to kind of catch ourselves in the thinking, this mental process, which is often the form that our doing takes, and simplifying. Starting to feel how, as you slow down, become still, there is this shift in the way that energy is moving, the energy expenditure. So rather than having energy in our limbs, our hands, our feet, our legs, our arms, we can actually feel this movement of energy inward. So the internal organs and systems start to really kind of soak in that energy that typically moves outward, whether it be through activity or things that we're thinking about, strategizing, rehashing. And for the last 90 seconds or so on this side, I want you to add in a bit more of a visualization. So, in and out through the pores, but as you inhale, I want you to imagine the whole inner landscape, the whole inner body filling up with a whitish golden light. You can imagine that there's medicine, the antidote, coming in, soaking in to every organ, every muscle, bone, every cell. And notice that the more you can relax and soften, the more of that medicine you can receive, that you actually can't effort your way to more absorption, that you actually just have to let go of the effort. So keep working with this filling up sensation as you inhale. And as you exhale, I want you to really feel for the points of contact between your body and the ground and your bolsters, whatever you're laying on. And I want you to see if you can experience your body sinking into that support as though your body were made out of sandbags. Take one more round of breath, filling up with medicine, with light. As you exhale, feeling that heaviness, that softening, that support. And I want you to try to move as slowly as possible, slow motion. Ideally, you could even keep your eyes closed here so that you're just kind of sneaking into the other side. And if you came in late, I'll set it up for you again. So we're going to be moving onto the right outer hip. So you're swinging your legs just behind you and setting up your bolster so that when you lay down, the right side of your rib cage will be laying onto the bolster, the pillows, and so will your head. So as you come down, I'm just mocking having something there. Your head is going to turn toward the same side as your legs. So when you get down there, your head should be supported. That right side of your rib cage should be supported. Your right hip is on the floor, and there's a little space between your right hip and where the bolster starts to support you so that that kind of lower sideways can hang toward the floor. And this should not feel hard. It should feel nice. And so I want to do something a little bit different on this side. Now that we've been in stillness for around 7 minutes, a little more receptive, a little more able to access this kind of more subtle plane of our energy bodies. So I want to have you just follow my guidance through a series of different spaces. So a guided relaxation, we could call it a variation on Yoga Nidra. I want you to bring your attention to the very top of your head, so the crown of your head, and imagine that you could feel a sort of stretching or melting effect through the just that surface area at the top of your head. So as though your skin could soften or loosen, broaden, a melting, as though you could relax the very top of your head. And then imagining that that sense of relaxation could move down through your forehead and across your brows. And this sensation, we're just going to try to pull it down through the body very slowly. So, feeling as though you could encircle the eyes and soften all of the tiny muscles, tissues around and even behind your eyes, between your eyes, that you could relax and soften even your eyeballs, the sockets, the bridge of your nose, your cheekbones, your temples, getting this melting, spreading, sprawling down into the jaw, in and around the ears, all the way around to the back and the base of your skull, through the sides of your neck, into your traps, tops of your shoulders and down in between your shoulder blades, across the front of your chest, your shoulders and your biceps, triceps, feeling this sort of melting and even heaviness again, this sandbag effect, feeling the weight and the density of your elbows, your forearms, your wrists, feeling as though all of the tiny muscles and bones in your hands could let go completely. Feeling a softening and a spreading through the rib cage, the sides of the ribs, down through your belly, your lower back, into the pelvis, loosening, unraveling or unclenching, feeling the femur bones loosen from the hip sockets. And just taking a moment to really experience the heaviness through this structure of the pelvis, this part of your body that rests directly on the floor. Feeling a sense of effortless dropping of the legs down into the support of your mat or your carpet, the quads, the hamstrings, into your knees, your calves, the shins, feeling the density of your ankles, your feet, feeling this quality of spreading at the same time that you become very heavy and connected to the earth. It's almost as though you become more buoyant, more spacious. And then once you've gone through the entire body, seeing if you can just become aware of the silhouette, the outline of your body. Again, imagining this body like a sandbag resting on the bolster, the ground. Can you be aware of this body without any effort at the physical level? And can you sort of aim at logging in or memorizing this feeling of effortlessness, of non doing? Seal it in. So, we are just coming already to the end of our first session. My recommendation, if you're really comfy here, is that you might crawl out of the pose and maybe lay down in shavasana, maybe lay right down into your bed. It's up to you. But now that you've done that down regulating, I would recommend staying away from screens and TV and anything stimulating, and see if you can just kind of ride that wave into your bedtime whenever that might be. So I appreciate so much your presence here. And if you have any feedback, any questions about tonight, I'm happy to answer through email or otherwise. And I will see you tomorrow. Sweet dreams. Namaste.